Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I thought we can cover some more things that you guys seem to really like. Tarp shelters. Now 3 months ago, I made a video showing everyone how to make tarp shelters, and it was a very popular video and people seem to really like it. And I made one a week ago showing how to do the tarp tent. Now, because people seem to really like these videos, and personally, I really enjoy making them, I thought we can do it again. But this time, I'm going to show you new tarp shelters that I've never built before, very new to me, and are, in my opinion, quite unique. So I'm really excited to try these and give them a go. Now, I think this is the perfect time to introduce the first tarp shelter, and that is the Plow point shelter. Now, for the Plow point shelter, all you really need is one tree. Now, when building the Plow point shelter, most people tend to start from the bottom, but I'm going to try a different way, and I'm going to start from the top because I feel like personally for me this will be easier. Now, the first thing you need to do is you need to have your guideline onto one of the corners of the tarp. It's the corner that would look like a 90 degree. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find our height that we want this, and I'm probably going to say round there, and then we're going to tie this around the tree to hold it up in that position. Now, awkwardly, the tree I've picked, the guideline isn't actually long enough. So lucky enough, I have got some spares in my pocket. Right, now I've got two on there. Let's try this again. So I want it about that high. Right, now I've got this tied up there. What you want to do is you want to move towards the opposite corner, which is the same 90 degrees, opposite side, and we're going to move down that way and peg it in the other end. We're going to stretch it out and we're going to peg it in. Now, that is the roofing part done, but we still got these walls here which are a bit flappy in the wind. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a peg for either side and peg them down. Now, I did notice that the tarp was actually the wrong way round, and I had the inside bit facing out way, and that bugs me. But I thought I'd change it and put it the right way round. I don't want to take that out of the video because, hey, we all make mistakes. Let's learn from them. Now let's go over some of the pros and cons for this. It's quite an easy shelter to put up. It didn't take much to do. You have got quite a lot of coverage. So I reckon for rain, this won't be too bad. Unless it is coming in this direction, then I'd potentially either lower it down or I would swap to a different shelter. Now, you have got plenty of space here. There is plenty of space to lie down. There's plenty of space to keep your gear here. But I will say it would get a little bit cramped down there. If you're lying down there and you've got this against you, it might feel a little bit cramped. Now, some of the issues that I'm noticing from it just being in here is that I can feel the wind coming in from this direction, and you have got protection from the wind from one side, not the other. So that is a disadvantage to this shelter. But yeah, this is quite an easy shelter to put up. It doesn't take too long. And if I just wanted coverage, then I could use this. I wouldn't say it's one of my favourite ones, but it's definitely good to know. Now, the next shelter we're going to build, I was very confused with the title because I didn't know how we're going to work. And this shelter is called the Half Pyramid Shelter. And my fault was, well, it's a square. And I didn't know how it was going to work. But after seeing a video on how to make it work, I get it. So we're going to give it a go and see what happens. Now, for this shelter, we need 3 pegs, the shelter, and I'm going to grab a stick. This is for the pole in the center. I don't bring my trekking pole with me today, but if you have one, you can use that instead. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to peg 3 different corners. So I'm going to peg the back end first, and now I'm going to peg the second one, and now the third one. Now with this fourth one, we're not going to be pegging it here. We're going to actually be pegging it closer to one of the corners. So I'm going to go up to this corner. I'm going to say that's pretty close, and I'm quite happy with that. And what I've basically done is made a triangle shape. Now I've just got to go find a stick, and this is going to be my center point. Hopefully this is the right height. So I don't damage the tarp shelter, I am just putting the tarp shelter bag just on the top, just to protect it a bit more. But wish me luck. So awkward to build. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually try and peg it out a bit more. So I'm going to stick a couple of pegs in and see what we can do. So this is the half pyramid shelter built. And I'm not going to lie to you, it was stressful and it was such a pain. While building this, I get what people are doing when they're making this. I understand it, because you have got full shelter all around you. You've got a doorway. You've basically got cover from all angles with what I would say is a very unusual door. And I don't know how I feel about that, but I do understand what they're doing when they're making this. Right, it's time to crawl into this awkward thing. When you flick the front entrance back, you have got this coverage. I've got little gaps here, which is ventilation. I'll take that. Now you have got this really awkward stick in the way, but you have got plenty of room to lie down. There's a lot of room for your gear. Now it is quite warm in here. I can feel the temperature is different from outside, but I can't feel any wind. Some of the pros for this is it's windproof. It's definitely waterproof. You've got protection from every single angle. Now, it was quite easy for me to find this stick, so it was quite easy to prop it up. It was awkward to get it in here and get it all set up. There's enough room for me to lie down and have all my gear and be protected from the elements. Right, I think it's time to get out of this bloody thing now. I'll tell you what, one day I'm going to remember to bring a ground sheet, because I constantly get covered. Right, time for the next shelter. Now, the next shelter that we're going to do is very similar to the first shelter, but this one's called the Flying V shelter. And I'm using a Ridgeline this time. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to tie our Ridgeline round our tree. I'm actually using the smaller tree this time because it's a lot easier to tie around than the larger one. So that's sorted. And then, exactly the same with the first one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have one corner as if it's tied towards the tree. So I'm going to feed this through there. And then I'm going to bring this closer towards the tree. And then I'm going to feed it through my center hole, as so. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie this to the other side of the tree, and we'll tidy this up. So I'm going to tie a prusik knot just so I can hold this into place. Just give that a bit of a tidy up. Right, now I've put one on this side, I'm going to put one for the center side as well. Now we've set it up on this side, it's time to do the other side closer to the tree. So the next thing to do is to bring the other end of this and tie it out somewhere down here. Let's do the sides now. And just so you can see from this angle, it will come out like that. And give that a peg in. Right, so that's this one done. The difference between this one and the first one is that the centerpiece is actually raised up higher. So you've actually got more space inside. It's the same type of concept of shelter where you are protected from two different corners. You've got your rain protection. It's quite low to the ground. Just so you can see again, and me risking getting a bit dirty, is that there is a lot more space. You've still got the wind coming in from the direction from the front. That is one of the cons. But other than that, it's definitely better than the first one. It wasn't too difficult to set up. And I really like this one. I think I might use this in a future video. The next shelter we're going to build is a side wall lean-to shelter. And what we're going to do is we're going to clip these two bits up onto our ridgeline, which I've kept up. So we're not going to do the corners. We're going to do the next one along. Second one in on both sides. And that's going to be clipped up to the top. And then leave the middle one, and then do the next one. Now I'm just going to open that one up a bit, like that. On the back end of the tarp, we're going to peg this straight backwards. So over here, and we're going to do that on both corners. Bring them both back out. Easy. Now we just need to put 2 guidelines on both these corners that are hanging down. And what we want to do is we don't want it going out sideways like this. We want it going directly downwards, as low as we can, and peg it out this way. So I just follow the line. That's 2 sides. Nice. And that's the sidewall lean-to shelter. Now this one was actually very easy to put up. It didn't take long at all. Again, if you know your knots, it makes it easier. It has got pretty good wind protection. So you have got these side panels to protect you from the wind. Now, I know what most people will think, and that the wind will get from underneath. What you can do is, if you wanted to, you can lower it down a bit more, which will give you a bit more wind protection and probably make it more stealth. The disadvantage to that is you'll have less space. There isn't much space as it is for lying down, so it is going to be quite cramped. I would personally use this as a day shelter rather than a couple of day shelter. I just think for a bit of sun protection, maybe a little bit of wind protection and some light rain, this might be good. But again, you have got this full section here where all of the elements can come through. Now, the only issue I've got with this shelter is that I believe that if rain was to fall down here, it would strip off nicely because you've got it as a nice height. But if you have it any lower, and this is sagging quite a bit, you will have the water just sit on the top, and I reckon that will weigh this down more. My body's propping this up a bit more. So you probably could, if you wanted to, be clever, and I would put a stick here to kind of hold this up. But that is almost the same as the flying V shelter. Rather than it being directed towards a tree, you've got it done this way. So if you really, really want some extra space, I would stick a stick here or a trekking pole, because that has improved it drastically. You can tell compared to that, it's very droopy, but it's not a bad shelter. Well, that's it for the video today. I hope you've enjoyed seeing these new tarp shelters that I've showed you today. I would have put a few more out, but it's getting a little bit dark and it will be a little bit more difficult for you guys to see me put some more out. This is one of the unfortunate things about recording in the winter. But if you do happen to want to see any more tarp shelters, then I will put another video up later down the line showing a couple more. I'm hoping in a future video I will be trying out one of these shelters overnight and seeing what it is like in the real world. Now, I'd love to hear from you guys on which tarp you actually think is the best out of all these, which one you would prefer. Or if you've actually tried any of these, and it'd be nice to know if you think any of them are actually good or not. I hope everyone has a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video.